Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can.
It's a dapper song, one of my favorite songs. Come fly with me. We're always flying here around the world.
And hopefully equally as smoothly as Mr. Bublé.
Well, we have Captain Karen Kahn, who's one of the first female commercial airline pilots.
Yes.
And she's got a book out called Flight Guide for Success, Tips and Tactics for the Aspiring Airline Pilot. Let's say hi to Karen Kahn. Hello, Karen.
Good morning.
Well done. And your glass ceiling is now at, 36,000 feet?
Karen, are you still flying these days?
Oh, you bet. As a matter of fact, I've just been given an extra 5 years with the increase in pilot retirement age from 60 to 65, so...
Wow.
Life is good.
What's it take to become a pilot? I mean, it's a long road, isn't it?
Well, I think like anything else, it takes a lot of determination. It takes a lot of passion. My book, Flight Guide for Success, is really a handbook for anybody who's passionate about any particular thing and wants to get ahead. So I recommend it for anybody who's interested in really following their passion and convincing somebody to help them and showing they're worth it.
Did you have any relatives who were also flying as well, or were you just singularly there and just said, I want to be a pilot, and what gave you your love of flying?
I wish that I had a relative. I always tell my favorite story about when I did start learning to fly. My parents were very much against it, and my dad used to cut out all the airplane crash articles and send them to me. I was going to cut out all the car crash articles and send them to him, but I figured, hey, let's spend our time doing something productive.
So how did you get into the flying then? Did you have people you knew had planes, or you just saved up enough money to take lessons?
I had a friend who was a pilot, and he said, much like you do today, if you want to learn how to fly, go out to the local airport, take an introductory ride. In those days, it was $5. Now I expect it's probably
I think it's about 50.
It's probably about 50. But
that's at Red Baron Aviation. That's what I did with my son, and now he's going off to be a pilot.
Exactly. So
it works.
I really encourage people to get into it locally, see if they like it, do some flying, because we all start out the same way.
What did you like about it? Did you like the sort of the adrenaline rush, the exhilaration of being up there, the first ride that really hooked you and said, I really love to do this as a profession?
I think what really hooked me is the immediate feedback. You know exactly when you're doing something right, and conversely, when you're doing something wrong. I liked the freedom. I liked the being able to get from A to B. And I guess I liked the feeling of control and the precision that it was immediate feedback. I thought was one of the best things.
And Karen, there's lots of job cuts in the industry. The industry is under a lot of attack right now because of higher fuel costs, and now people traveling less because of the economy. How is this going to? What kind of changes are taking place that are going to affect the current pilot shortage? I mean, there are going to be fewer pilots out there. What do we do?
Well, I think they're going to be perhaps fewer, but there's still going to be a great need. Even with the increase in retirement age, which not everybody actually works till that age, you're going to see a lot of pilots retiring because we have a lot of people who came from the Vietnam War, from the military. And the military, by the way, right now is keeping pilots longer. So the need for pilots still exists. People who start into it now aren't going to be ready tomorrow. So that now is a good time, always during a bit of a downturn, to start your training so that you can accrue your experience and be ready for the up times.
And how about for consumers? How are these changes that are going on right now going to affect the consumers who are traveling by air?
Well, of course, as chair of the Santa Barbara Airport Commission, we're hoping people will fly locally, and I think that's what we need to do to keep the airline service we've got, because we've got great service to about 9 destinations. And if people look hard at what it now costs them really to drive to Los Angeles or drive to Burbank to try to find what they think are cheaper fares, I think they'll realize that staying in Santa Barbara, flying out of Santa Barbara, not paying the extra fuel, the parking, the hassles with the security at the big airports, it's really a bargain to fly locally. And if we do, we will keep the service we've got. But I think you're going to see consolidation. I think you'll see fewer flights. So it's going to behoove the traveler to book early and follow a few tips that I can provide.
Now, right now in Santa Barbara, you can fly to San Francisco, L.A.,
Las Vegas,
you can fly to
San Diego,
Vegas, Denver
Sacramento
on United.
Yes.
Dallas?
Dallas,
Okay, we got
yeah.
Dallas on there too. So,
Phoenix, Salt Lake.
right.
I did
Portland,
the Dallas flight
Seattle.
the other day when I went to Palm Beach, and
Yep.
it was very good. First time I do Santa Barbara Airport, and I think it's just so utterly charming. It's just a great setup,
It is-
and it was very easy to go through, no problem.
It is a beautiful airport, and I love our facilities there
Yes.
because it's still a small town.
Exactly. And what we need to do is use the facilities to show the airlines that they shouldn't pull service, because like any smart business person, they're going to cut back wherever they see, wastage and non-use of their service.
Is there a threat out now, right now that we may lose a couple of these carriers?
I think the threat exists in them pulling back. They're going to tighten their belt, and how do they do it? They have fewer flights to the destinations that actually people want to go to. We've already lost one of our flights to San Diego, and I have to tell people, please fly to San Diego on ExpressJet, because that's the way we're going to keep the service. Think real hard about what it costs you in fuel at $5 a gallon to drive there. You're much better off to fly there and rent a car if you need one.
And they're still offering good fares, for the short trips, are they?